Hello everyone, welcome back to Trackling 101. Today, we're going to be building to the sawmill. Let's get started. So, in preparation for this, I want to walk you through my plan to actually build the sawmill and the logging camp. Now, after playing this game for over a year now, I've come to realize that there is no reason for the logging camp to directly connect with the freight depot. Logs don't need to go to the freight depot. Logs do not need to go south. They only need to go towards the smelter. And so, let me more specifically draw this out. It only needs to go here to the sawmill, and it also only needs to go towards the smelter. So, in fact, I do not need any kind of line that goes to the freight depot. And that kind of helps. And you can kind of see they both need to go to this top right direction. And so my first inclination here is to build the logging camp, or build a line from the logging camp out this way that will head to the smelter. Because again, that's only where it needs to go. It doesn't need to go south or to the freight depot. So I don't need to worry about that line. Okay, so now question is, how do I actually connect this? Well, eventually this line that we built from the freight depot needs to come into the sawmill. But a little bit more specifically, it only needs to go to, this side here. Our line from the freight depot, it only needs to go to this side over here. That's all we need to worry about. So the question is, how do I actually do that? What's the smart way? So I have a line that's eventually going to come through here, and a line that's going to come from the freight depot into it. Okay. Let me come back after I draw some things out, and I'll show you the plan. So, I'm back, and we're going to ignore my beautiful drawing skills and just talk about what's going on here. I'm taking inspiration from one of my current saves to do this, but let me walk you through what's actually going to be happening. So, in black is my, I'm going to say, pass-through main line. That line's coming from the logging camp, and it's going to go through to the smelter. So, in red here, this is the logging camp line. For log to be dropped off at the smelter, what's going to happen is we're going to have a switch that goes up and around to the pond, and it's going to cross over and do another loop back. Kind of like a cloverleaf flower. That's my inspiration here. It kind of looks like the two clovers of a cloverleaf. Now, again, that's just our logging camp line. In light blue here, this will be our line coming from the smelter. Remember, beams in lumber need to go to the iron mine. They also will eventually need to go to the coal mine. Well, more specifically, beams will need to. So we need to have some kind of loop that goes this way. Which we have. We have one loop. We have two loops. And here in dark blue, we have our third loop that will go to the freight depot and eventually to our oil industries. And it starts here, goes up, around, and back through. So we actually, in fact, have three loops built into one. What I think is one of the more efficient routes. Let me check. So now we have three loops in one. At one industry, we have kind of three loops on top of each other. This will prove for very efficient track running and train running. And we're trying to limit any redundancy. All right, let's go back in game and start building. So here I am back in game, and the first thing we're going to do is delete this end piece. We don't need it because we're going to need to curve into the sawmill. Remember, from here, we're going to curve up into the sawmill. I think before I actually need to do that, I should go start at the sawmill. Kind of get our spacings here before we try to guesstimate our main line. Alright, step 1. Probably the easiest thing to do is line up the tracks for the pond and the cranes. Now remember, using circle mode, I am going to make a straight piece. And the sawmill is slightly tilted, so I'm just going to try to find a good angle for dropping off stuff. So alignment 1, 2, 3 is probably a good alignment for the drop-off pond or side. So we're just going to build that and then go over here. And on the other side here for the cranes, what you do not want to do is build track super close like this. This is a no-no. The cranes will extend pretty far out, and so we need to have our track pretty far out for the cars to be nice and centered with the cranes. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is using bridge 2. You can see the little foundation or walls, quote unquote, that come out from it. And if you're looking over here in the top right, where I'm lining up with a beam, I would make sure that the end of it is touching the dock, like this. Now using circle mode to build a straight line, build a straight piece out. And if you notice, right there, it kind of clips into the beam where at the start it didn't. This is because the sawmill is at a kind of weird angle and I can't fix it, but I can do my best. And I'm actually going to go one post back to about here. Ta-da! This way, when we actually build a train over here, or bring a train over here, the cars will be lined up with the cranes. Now, obviously we're not going to keep a bridge here, so I'm going to put a crossover and then delete. But instead what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use bridge 1, and this will be kind of like my loading dock area for the cranes. I'm going to build it out, so that way, even when I'm just driving a train that I can't really see back, I can at least try to look for the brown or the yellow of the wood, so I can make sure I'm nice and centered. I'm going to build now a piece out, maybe 13.5, that looks good. Then again, just so I have some kind of like loading area. This way it will help me when I bring trains over here. So I'm going to stay over on this side, and the first thing I'm going to do is, using circle mode, I'm going to try to find a nice curve out. Minimum, to make like a really, I'll say the minimum radius you want is 50. That will be 30 degrees of a curve, and sometimes it doesn't want to work over here. I'm trying not to go over 50. Let's see, maybe a 47. And I'm going to try to build in shorter segments. Because I want to try to create or keep the circleness, I guess, the roundness of the circle intact. I'm actually going to delete this piece and back it farther. Straighten it out. Maybe to about here. Now I'm going to build or start the curve immediately, just to see if it'll actually pass. And I believe it will, but just barely. Now, to make this not such a hard angle to the right, we're going to do some of that spiral curve talk we had in episode 2. So how to actually do that is, remember, we need to start with a bigger curve and then go to our sharp curve. So I'm going to start here with 100 meters, a very, very short piece. 4 meters, that'd probably be even too short or too long. And again, you want to try to build in short segments to keep the circleness of the curve intact. Unfortunately, it's a little too wide. It doesn't want to seem like it connects, or we'll clear this mountain. Hill? Hill. I don't think it will clear this hill. So now I'm gonna flatten it out. Yeah, unfortunately that's not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this segment, but then make this next one 49 instead. And we'll see if this magically fixes it or not. Wow, would you look at that? I can actually probably widen it back out to 50. Yep. I'm leaving myself a little bit of space so I can widen the curve out again. And don't worry about this little white part clipping into the rail at the end here. As long as it doesn't block the inside of the rail, it will still work. Ta-da! We have a nice curve from this loading dock, so we can head back to our switches and whatever else we're going to make. And how did I do that? Well, I'd recommend starting from the loading dock, giving yourself plenty of space, and just testing it. I was able to do a 50 to a 49 meter segment right here, but I was able to basically do a 50 meter curve from the loading dock, and that should be plenty big for our engines to actually move around it. Now I'm back over by the logging pond, or logging drop off, better term. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a straight piece. Going to center back up on circle mode. I'm just going to build a straight piece, really short, and I'm just going to extend this out. Remember, we're trying to do that kind of cloverleaf, so somewhere in here I need to put a 90-degree crossover. And actually, I think... Nah, I'm thinking to put it a little bit closer to the pond as best as I can. So for this to kind of help just be able to build this design, remember we're going to have a main line, so I want something that goes out this way. And that crossover is going to stay in place. Now I'm just building a few short segments just to make sure I don't delete anything large. Yep, and the actual easy part is just kind of extending this out. Maybe, yeah, we'll do 31, why not, or 30. And it won't connect. That is okay. Okay, so I just built a few little short pieces out from that crossover on both sides, and what I'm going to do is try to connect to the loading area first. I think probably we might be able to just put a switch, yeah, directly from the crossover. Doesn't seem like it clips from the pond, so I believe we're good. From here, it's, without using circle mode, it's pretty easy just to connect. But first, I need to delete this crossover. Let's see what happens. That looks pretty good. Doesn't seem like it's too sharp. I think the entrance is a little sharp on this side. Seems like it's kind of tight. Over here it seems fine. Yeah, so over there it's steeper. Personally, I don't really like that. But there is a fix for something like that, where it just doesn't look right. The best thing to do is, using circle mode, find the radius. What is the curve that's happening here? So around like a 54 meter, maybe 55, 54 and a half, something there. So the best thing to do is from either side, I'm going to call the anchor, from the anchor points of the curve, just build a piece out. So here, I'm going to do a 60-meter radius on both sides. Maybe 6 meter. And once I do that, I can just connect these two. And now we are guaranteed to have a smooth exit and entrance into this curve. And again, it was just by making a short, slightly wider piece of track from the anchors. At this point, what I can do is I can just connect up to the pieces of track I already laid. And ta-da! We have some nice curves around the sawmill. However, now what I need to do is I need to connect up the unload area to the loading tracks. And I don't really think there's any one surefire way to do this. I know a lot of people have their own preference to it. I think for me though, I think I want to stay closer to the mountain and just have it go this way. So I'm gonna have it do, actually I lied. Gonna build a few pieces out from here. Okay, what am I doing? Well, I decided that I want to use this track as a reference. This is gonna set the angles for everything. Let's do 31 and a half. Now from here, I'm just gonna make a straight piece. Doesn't matter. This is just gonna be straight. Literally no other purpose. Just being straight. Now, problem is, how do I actually connect this over here and make it look good? Well, the better question is, where do I put a switch? That's the thing I need to figure out first. So, this is where track laying becomes more of guessing than anything else. A lot of times it's going to be trial and error. And as long as you have the patience for it, I think you'll be okay. I'm trying to find a nice angle. As long as it doesn't go over 50. I think around, yeah, 67. Probably. Yeah, that looks good. Delete that piece. Now I just need to find a good area, or just a good place for this switch. Now also, you see why I built shorter segments, because when I want to delete track like this, I don't have to go too far to build out segments. I think probably there. We'll do a left facing switch. Okay, it's a little janky. What if I just build it from here? I wonder. That looks better. I think I can make it just a little further out. Yeah, I think I'll keep that. So this one's simple. You just connect to that piece, and this. Again, we're gonna do some spiral curve action. Wasn't perfect, so we can be creative here. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna do a 90-meter piece, maybe for like 5 meters. That looks good. Then same thing on this side. Gonna change it so it's facing the other way, positive. And I'm gonna do a positive 90 for about 5 meters. Now, without circle mode, just freehanding it. Boop. Now we have, again, another nice curve right into our logging pond. Ah, look at that. Okay, so I just deleted those, we'll say, scaffolding pieces. Those were meant to be deleted. This is just from our switch we just placed. And I'm going to place another switch facing to the right. Now remember, this is supposed to be our clover that goes around to our main line. So from here, I don't know. I think I'm going to do 90, and here's why. If you don't know, the actual radius of the switch is 90 meters. It curves for a little bit and then straightens out right at the end. But the actual curve is around 90 meters. And so, I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to keep this 90 meters. Again, still building short segments. And see what happens. Might be too big. Yeah, way too big of a curve. I think I'm actually going to try to go on the tighter side. Maybe do like more closer to 50 meters than anything else. However, kind of keeping on the super elevation trend, or not super elevation, spiral curve trend, I'm going to build a short, slightly wider piece, and then I'm going to go to our narrow, kind of steeper curve. And that actually works out for us. Because remember, we want a piece that goes straight. So somewhere in here, I need to put a switch. I think around here. I'm going to kind of center this back to 90 meters. Oh. Yeah, I think right there will be really good. Now, it's unfortunate that it floats, but there's not much I can do about that. And I don't think you should worry about it. So now we're going to go back to that 52 meter curve. You know, this actually works out really, really nicely. We're going to go about 80 this time. All I'm going to do now. That's actually kind of very close to the angle we wanted originally. I think that looks really nice. Now, before we even build up this or do any of the other tracks, we're going to kind of clean up this. Now we know how far we're going to be going out. It's time to make our other clover that goes around this way. Now, I believe there's only maybe a few good ways to kind of do this. We need some straight piece, and I'm questioning whether it'd be good to put a switch right here. I think so. We actually are going to need two switches, one for the clover and one to head back to the freight depot. So I am just going to do that. But now thinking about it, I think it'd be better to put a left-facing switch. I think in this regard, we're all set just to connect these two. Yeah, look at that. So this is our main line right here that goes straight. And this track will just nicely be able to connect back to the freight depot. Let's just get maybe like a 200 meter curve. This is just a placeholder, nothing serious. Yeah. So from this angle, we can kind of see the shape. We have our clover going out this way, finally reaching back in here. Now this side. So after doing a little bit of trial and error, what I found out is if you actually want to make a perfect circle around this little hill, give or take about 87 meters should be plenty, or just enough. And so I'm just going to see if that works right now. So a little too tight. So maybe not right away. What if I do a little piece that goes far out first? like this. Again, 80, 87. You know, I think 85 will actually work better in this case. Strongly think 85. May not seem like too much of a big change, but can make or break the difference sometimes. This is a little too big. And actually, this is kind of like the trial and error. I'm really far out here, so I can actually go back in. This piece was way too long. So again, I need to straighten it back out to 0. We'll do like a 15 roughly meter piece. Again, we're gonna go back to 80. See, now we're like even. Alright, give me a second to kind of build this radius and I'll come back once I'm finished. Finally, it's done. Looking at it on Rails Extended, we can actually see our ideas start coming to life. We have our Cloverleaf. Now, what did I do what did I do here? So, turns out doing it a solid 80 meters was not cutting it. So you can probably see it, but it's actually more of like an oval, not a perfect circle. And so what did I have to do? So from our straight piece from the switch, I put a straight piece, about 10 meters, 12 meters I believe it was. Then there I started an 87 meter curve, or an 85 meter curve for a little bit. I then changed it to 70 for a little bit longer. And then here, at the tightest part, I changed it to 60 even. And it stayed 60 until about here. Bent back to 70. And then 80 even. And the piece I just connected after coming back was the final. And here it is. And we have a nice little Cloverleaf. So again, for operation running, we're going to take this switch, go to the left, come up, take the switch again to the left, go through here, cross over, take this, come all the way back again, and then we can start heading back to the logging camp. So we have a nice full little loop. Now, this, a giant mound of groundwork. I said in episode 2 that I didn't really mind it, but after looking at this, I kind of think it's bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this piece. Seems good. And I'm just actually going to probably replace it with a stone bridge. Or not stone bridge, stone wall, like this. I'm going to go over here to this piece. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just replace it with a... Actually, I even think that's too much. I believe same thing on the other end. Let's see if I can connect it. So around 60, like I said. Do it for 10 meters, nice and even. I'm gonna find the angle for this one here. Gotta go all the way negative. Yay. So we can find it negative 70. So now I'm just gonna make a nice, maybe another 10 meter. Like that. Now, you can probably guess what I'm gonna do. I am gonna use DNRG Western, or Denver Rio Grande Western Bridge 2, and just connect. It should almost keep the same curve, the same radius intact. But now, instead of having that giant mound of groundwork, I have a bridge. think it covers. I think it does it perfectly. I actually like that a lot. So what did I do? Again, this is why I build in shorter segments than maybe most people, is because in case I need to do stuff like this, instead of just trying to redo the entire thing, I just take a little piece out and then replace it. And it allows me to do stuff like this. Very nice. Coming back now to the first cloverleaf we made, and we put that switch kind of halfway in the middle here. All I'm going to do is from the straight piece, my bad, the straight piece of the switch, I'm going to build a spline out just a little bit. Now remember, this is where our free depot line is going to come into. And what I'm trying to figure out now is where we're going to put a crossover for our main line. Maybe a 45 would actually work a little bit better. Let's see. No, 90 it is. So we just need to figure that out. Now, do not fear. Man, if I had like a 30-degree crossover, that'd be so nice. I think even this far out would probably be better. Well, Kist, why are you doing this? Well, I'm trying to figure out a good spacing. I understand it needs to like curve over there. I'm actually thinking it'd probably be better to build it off of this one first. And just have the top line curve. Why is it not connecting? If you ever have an issue where like your track is not connecting, like it's not connecting here, why won't it connect here? Sometimes the hitbox is a little weird. My recommendation is crouching and extending it out, and so you can see the little link. It pops up all of a sudden. Ta-da! We're just gonna go out till about here, I think. Now my dummy didn't want to do it. There we go. And about here. Yeah, I think this will be good. Yeah. Because now watch. What I can do is just connect it. It's a very slight curve, but now this way it works for that piece, and we can build out for our main line. I actually probably just go straight now that I think about it. Uh-oh. Huh. Yeah. That works. I still have plenty of space over there too. So now comes the easy part where we just try to find a good radius. Also got to keep in mind where our other switch over there to the left is going to connect to. This is way too far. Round to even, 170. Let's do it. Now don't worry about the massive groundwork. I know I have to kind of jump it over my opinions about it and stuff. Okay, not quite. Kind of made a boo-boo with the line from the free T-boat, but that is okay. Mistakes happen, and we're gonna fix it. That looks a lot better. Again, I cannot say it enough, but trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. Think about maybe there would work. Yeah, Seems like we're doing pretty okay so far. And you know what? I'm fine with it. To be honest, I don't really care. Except this. This kind of looks ridiculous. So we're going to fix that in a second. If another kind of, I'm going to say warning or disclaimer, is the Sawmill track is actually higher than the freight depot. See if I can show you here. See, it's ever so slightly higher. So we need to fix that. So it's been a little bit. There's an update since the last clip and now, but I think it's pretty exciting. We're back in spring and it's very different. I kind of like the brown tones we got going on, not gonna lie. However, that's not as important. We need to get back to fixing our track. So I had a few days to kind of look at what's going on here, and this whole section that we're on right now, I think is bad. It's going to prove to be more difficult to make it look good than it is to make it functional. Right now, it's functional, but it doesn't look good. So we're going to fix that. Now, remember, this is at like a 45-degree angle, so I think I'll change it to be like, I don't even know. Oh, there we go. Barely anything. I think that. Just trial and error. Moral of this episode, trial and error. Can't go wrong with it. Yeah. A little bit better. It's just so the angles kind of work, following the terrain a little bit better. The unfortunate thing is the switch. I think it might be better to place the switch on level ground than it is to do anything else. At least I think that was really sharp. I guess I think this is what I changed my mind. We're gonna keep the switch over here, I think. Yeah, actually change of plan. No, I think it's probably not. Yeah. So it's just a very hard to here. What is this? Very perfect. Well, let's just trial and error. See what we can do. Delete this. Let's see what happens from this piece. This is actually the easy part now. We're in the final stages of it. Look at that. Kind of nice and beautiful. I think it'd be worth replacing this though. Yeah, not so bad. Same thing with this. Alright. So, how do we fix giant groundwork piles like this? Well, you'd think the simple solution is deleting first, but we do not want to do that just yet. At least not on that side. Let's go to this straight away. This will be easier. So from here, from our crossover, we can actually go straight for a little bit until we see this hill. Oh, you know what I also just realized? We need to put a switch to go that way. Let's not worry about it right now. So just like we did over there on the loop, I'm gonna go maybe to meter piece. That's fine. You know, I'm actually thinking probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a switch here, at least of some sorts. That looks kind of bad. I could do it from the other side, but I don't necessarily want to do that. Alright, It's gonna make a street, or we're gonna make a piece that will connect into it like that. Will this do the trick? Close. Oh. I think it's gonna look a little weird. You know what? I'm actually kind of fine with that. As long as it works, I think the outcome will be worth it. So what this piece of track is, it's going to connect to head east towards the smelter with this track. This will be our main line, kind of heading out. So we just going to extend this out, kind of get like our reference and idea where the track is going to go. Yep. So we'll come back to this and let's rebuild this bridge out. So it's not too tall, and I actually am going to use, let's use a new bridge. Just kind of extending out where this piece met. Say about there. Now I actually am probably going to want it on the right side. So to do that, we need to build from over here first. But again, I need to find the curve that this is at. Just so I can get some kind of better measurement. Alright, so now I think we can just freehand connect this line. That should be no biggie. Ta-da! I'm just gonna make sure the wall isn't clipping the other rail. I think yeah, but no. So we're gonna fix that in a second. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me be right back. That was easy. Just had to teleport out real quickly. Yep, so once again, just to kind of explain what I am doing, it's just a point of connecting pieces together now that we're finally making some good progress. So the groundwork is a little too big here, and so I've just been trying to replace it. Now, just me personally, what I've been doing is, I think it might be good just to replace this entire segment. We'll see. What I've been trying to do is replace the giant amount of groundwork with some kind of bridge, something a little bit better, some better support. I don't like this though. What are pieces on? So it's on that one. Let's see if we can get rid of it. I'm sure there's some way to fix it. I think replacing this entire bridge as one piece would fix it, but I don't want to risk it bowing out at the end, so we're not going to worry about it. I think this part's complete. And the reason I have the railing on this side is because I like to have it on the outside of the curve, just so when a train's coming over here, it kind of acts like a guard from them flying on the outside of the curve. Just my personal taste. This is fine. Maybe it could be a bridge or some kind of stone wall, but for what it's worth, it's fine. That said, though, I think that's the sawmill complete. All right, let's go take a look at it. So finally, after a few days and plenty of hours, we are done. This is one of the, I think, more efficient sawmill layouts. It's not perfect. Honestly, I would love to put a switch farther down here and just get rid of this little connection here. I think that would be a little bit better, but it works. We have our logging camp loop. We have a loop to head toward the freight depot. We have a loop to head towards the smelter and the other mines. So, for what it's worth, this is pretty awesome. It's going to run super well. Got nice big curves. All of our trains we've been to make it. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you guys for sticking around this long. And yeah, join me next time. I think we're going to build out to the logging camp and actually maybe run a train afterwards. See if we can get, use it and enjoy the new update. All right. My name's Kist, and I'll see y'all later.